Alright, a lot of you guys are probably wondering, Success, when are you going to add another member to your team? I can't believe you aren't using Pikachu. You should be Pika disappointed in yourself. He's so cute! He's the face of Pokemon. He's got Pika power! He's freaking Pikachu! Well, let me tell you, Pikachu is going to join the team. So I will be using Pikachu. But only temporarily, until we beat Misty. Then we're actually dropping Pikachu like a bad habit. But for that reason, we trained Mr. Pikachu here in the grass just below Pewter City, and we got him to level 9. And I got all that off screen for you guys. He's at least to a point right now where he can kind of at least, you know, take care of himself a little bit. He can fight back. But yeah, I don't actually know if we actually even went over Pikachu's moveset or his nature. We actually got a pretty good nature for him. His Thunder Shock is a special thunder move or electric move that has a chance to leave paralysis, and he also learned Thunder Wave, which does no damage, but it just causes paralysis if it hits, so got some pretty good moves right now. He's going to learn Quick Attack here pretty soon, so we are about to face a whole lot of trainers back to back, and we are also going to pick up a hidden item. Well, technically, there's going to be 2 hidden items along this route, and we're going to grab them pretty shortly here. There's also going to be a few new Pokemon. Before I get into those, I just want to say Nintendo, I am very disappointed in you. For 2 reasons, actually. One, I have been patiently waiting to buy Soul Silver or Heart Gold on a Nintendo Switch for a very long time. Where is it at? You know, I'm waiting patiently. Or, you know, you guys could just, you know, drop a Crystal remake or something. Oh, and if you could make that $20 too, that would be lovely. And secondly, I'm actually a little disappointed that Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is only on the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't care what you guys ever put out there for Nintendo Switch 2, nothing will ever convince me to get a Nintendo Switch 2. But I did get Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness on the original GameCube. I actually got the limited edition Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, like the entire GameCube. I actually wanted Super Smash Bros. Limited Edition. I think there was 3 when the GameCube first released. There was Luigi's Mansion, there was Super Smash Bros, and there was Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. I got the Pokemon one because I was such a huge fan of Pokemon as a kid. But everyone, it seems like, got the Super Smash Bros. One because that thing sold out pretty quickly. I also played Pokemon Coliseum, but that's neither here nor there. But I did want to play Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. I did want to record it for the channel, but then I figured out that it was only for Nintendo Switch 2 and not to Switch, so I'm just a little bummed out. But it's all good. The only other Pokemon game I have is Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, so if you guys, you know, ever want to see that, you know, I'll have to see how the series does before committing to, you know, another Switch game. Sorry to pull like a you know, the Rad Brad, but yeah. You know how he always has his milestones that he has to hit. He's like, yo, guys, hit this. Like, bro, you got 2 million subscribers. Pump that shit out anyway. But yeah, we got a few new Pokemon we are going to be catching, or just going over since it'll be our first time seeing them. And some of them are rare, so I bought another 13 Pokeballs to make it 20. Hopefully that's enough. So that little snake Pokemon there was Ekans. He is poison and he evolves into Arbok at level 22. Ekans and Arbok is actually the first Fire Red only game exclusive. Now the next Pokemon isn't exactly going to be exclusive to whatever game that you're playing, but at least for this specific route, the game you are playing will determine its appearance rate. So the Pokemon I'm talking about is Nidoran. Nidoran's evolutions actually branch off depending on what gender it is. So Fire Red has the male version appear the easiest, which leaves obviously Leaf Green having the female version appearing the easiest. Each game has the opposite one appearing at only 1%, meaning you can get super lucky, or more likely you'll take about 69 days of walking through grass and you might actually find it. But before I go into the male and female Nidoran evolution line, let me take a moment to talk about our favorite singer in the series. And of course, I mean Jigglypuff. Because if you guys haven't seen, the actual show, Jigglypuff loves to sing, and whenever it sings, it puts everyone who hears its song to sleep. It's actually pretty funny. Jigglypuff is always like really mad about it too. Before I do all that though, actually, let's go ahead and jump down here off this ledge in this middle section here and grab that hidden berry, hidden item there. I'm actually going to go ahead and give it to Pikachu because we are actually going to fight a little bit of a tough opponent. I wouldn't call him tough, but he is level 14. And I went ahead and I put Pikachu in front because it is a flying Spearow. It's a level 14 flying Spearow. And electric moves are super effective against it. And also want to try and get my Pikachu at least a little bit of XP here. But it looks like we actually did it. And that thing is 5 levels ahead of us. But we got to level up off of it. We're level 10 now. Getting closer to that quick attack new move set, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just jump down. We're gonna put our running shoes to test here, and we're gonna go all the way to this new trainer here who looks like an NPC, but she's actually gonna have a very rare Pokemon that we can actually catch here, and that Pokemon is Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff is a normal type in this game and only evolves into Wigglytuff through using an item called the Moonstone. Now remember I told you guys we are heading through Mount Moon in order to get to Cerulean City. That's where the next badge lies with Misty. Inside of Mount Moon we are going to get 2 different Moonstones. By the way, this freaking Jigglypuff just used the move Disable. That means I can no longer use whatever move it disabled, and that literally was my only attack move with Pikachu, so that freaking sucks. I have to switch him out. The next 2 Pokemon I'm going to name also has their final evolution unlocked via Moonstone. Those 2 Pokemon are Nidorino and Nidorino. Now Nidorina is the female evolution of Nidoran and only evolves into Nidoqueen after using a Moonstone. Nidorino is the male equivalent and evolution of Nidoran and only evolves into Nidoking after using a Moonstone as well. So both evolve from Nidoran at level 16. Which one you get depends on whether it's male or female. And yeah, feel free to stick around this route and grab both Nidorans. I know they look pretty cool, and I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that both of those Pokemon are pretty damn strong. And they can learn almost any TM move in the game. They have almost endless coverages. And I'd even recommend one. However, I'm not going to actually get one for myself. I mean, I'm going to capture it, probably train it up to, you know, evolve for the Pokedex. But truth be told, I always have had one on the team whenever I play this game. It's just a character I always go with. And I want to do something a little bit different this time. But yeah, just remember that 1%. I mean, it is truly a rare spawn. I would not recommend going for one here. And if you are going to go for it, just be prepared to waste countless hours looking for one. If you truly want one, I will tell you, there is a much easier way to get one. Listen, just catch 2 Nidorans. Whichever game you're playing, just catch 2 of them. It doesn't matter what it is, just catch 2 Nidorans. Shortly, once we get past our second badge, there is going to be a very nice girl who will actually trade us the opposite Nidoran that we need. And all we need is just another Nidoran, just a duplicate, you know? So yeah, I promise you guys, just do it that way. Please, please do not waste your time here. But you know, if you're pig-headed and you want to take on the challenge, shoot, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know how long did it take you to find the opposite Nidoran. And yeah, I'll believe your time. But yeah, this route is it's actually pretty good for training your Pikachu because the most common Pokemon is flying type, so that's both Pidgey and Spearow. So yeah, if you guys want to train your Pikachu up a little bit, this is actually a really good place to do it as well. Alright, and we finally caught freaking Jigglypuff. I don't know why, but I always like to name this thing Kirby. It reminds me of Kirby. Alright, so we've caught every Pokemon on this route. Now let's go up here and to the left of the Pokemon Center. Behind this rock is another hidden item. It's a berry. I think that one cures confusion, which we're not going to get confused for a long time, so that's probably going to just sit in our bag for the longest. So let's take a moment to heal our Pokemon, and then when we're done, we actually are going to get another Pokemon right now. We're going to go over here to the left and talk to this balding gentleman, but just for 500 bucks, he's going to give us a Magikarp, which I'm going to name Rage, because the evolved form of this guy is always pissed off for some reason. Now, Magikarp turns into Gyarados at level 20. The only thing is, this thing is literally useless until it hits level 15, because it only knows one move up until then, and it's the most useless move in the whole entire game. It's literally Splash. It does no damage. It literally does absolutely nothing. It just splashes around and is an easy target. So what you have to do is you actually have to switch train this thing until it's literally level 15, and it can finally actually be useful because it gains an attack. And then from that point on, you can level it up to level 20, and it becomes a very, very impressive water flying type. But if you have the patience to raise Magikarp to level 20 and get it evolved, you will definitely be rewarded. Excellent Pokemon. Now, the last obstacle before we hit Cerulean City and face Misty is Mount Moon. This cave has 4 new Pokemon to catch, and Geodude is one of them, which we already covered. The other Pokemon that I really want to talk about here is actually very super rare. And this lady actually in front of us, we are about to battle, actually has the one we want. Too bad we can't resort to Team Rocket tactics and actually just steal Trainer's Pokemon. But Clefairy is the last Pokemon that evolves with a Moonstone. That makes 4 Pokemon total that we went over that evolves with only a Moonstone. Unfortunately, there's only 2 in this cave, so you gotta pick and choose which one you want to evolve. But Clefairy transforms into Clefable. And this is actually a very good Pokemon too in itself. It's not as good as in other games, because in other games it actually turns into a fairy type. In this game it's just a normal type. But I definitely would recommend this Pokemon over Wigglytuff. But I mean, hey, if you're gonna go for like a bunch of cute Pokemon on your team, then hey, throw this guy on your team too. But yeah, Zubat here is the next Pokemon. Zubat is a poison flying type. We kind of already went into this a little bit. Zubat actually transforms into Golbat at level 22, and then transforms into Crobat through Friendship. Now, you cannot transform Golbat into Crobat until after you beat the Elite Four and go to the 7 Islands. Don't know why they did that in this game, but yeah, Crobat is actually one of my favorite Pokemons. I always kind of used it in Pearl and Diamond, even though truth be told, I've never actually beaten Pearl and Diamond. I think I've always gotten like maybe halfway, but I've always put Zubat on my team and got a Crobat, so it's just one of my favorite. Now, I'm going to name this thing after a character that I actually loved. If you know where it's from, then shout out to you. I always thought this name just worked out perfectly for Zubat, but more on Gyarados. Gyarados actually has the ability Intimidate, which actually cuts down your opponent's attack. So just that alone is honestly very, very helpful, aside from it just being an absolute powerhouse. And honestly, we got a really good nature too if we wanted to use it, but we're still not going to use this one, but we are going to eventually evolve it. So but the way I'm going to do it is I'm actually not going to switch train it all the way up to level 20. This is going to be the very first Pokemon that we actually put into the Pokemon Daycare. So after we beat Misty, our second badge in Cerulean City, we're going to unlock the Pokemon Daycare. And the Pokemon Daycare is basically a place where we can store any Pokemon that we want. And every step that we take out in the world is going to be an experience point for that Pokemon when they're taking care of it. So the more steps that we take, or whenever we get our bicycle and we can actually, ride our bike and get a lot of XP, we can just run around or whatever, we can just come back and eventually this thing will level up enough and hopefully it'll be like level 15 and it'll, have learned an attack move, and we could probably go from there. But we're going to be probably using the Daycare a lot to raise a couple of our Pokemon. Just the really annoying ones, more than likely. And to me, one of those more annoying ones is definitely Magikarp. So, yeah, don't give yourself a headache by switch training this thing all the way to level 15, dude. Just be nice to yourself. Don't do that. Just wait till you get the Pokemon daycare, and that'll help you out a lot. Now, this ladder right here, once you hit this ladder, the only Pokemon you're going to find is going to be Paris. Now, Paris is a bug grass type Pokemon that evolves into Parasect, starting at level 24. And most people only use Paris as an HM slave. They use him as a slave. And that's because he can learn HMs like Cut and Flash. And he also has some moves that can leave the opponent with some status effects. So a lot of people literally just put this guy on their team just to use him as a slave, just to help catch Pokemon and just to, just haul around and put HMs onto so that they don't have to put it onto like, more important, powerfuler Pokemon. I'm not going to be doing that. Poor Paris. He's only good enough to be someone's slave. But we're going to name him Shrooms, and he's going to go right into our box. So, this whole entire cave system has a couple of hidden items, but they're not going to be here for everybody. So, the hidden items I'm referring to, there's going to be 3 tiny mushrooms and 3 big mushrooms. Shout out to Paris for leaving around all these mushrooms for us. But the mushrooms are actually going to be an item in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green that you are going to want to hold on to till damn near the end of the game. So if you get them, you just want to store them in your PC, I definitely recommend that. What these are called is hidden recurring items. And basically, if you find them, you're going to know what type of save group you're in. So once you start the game, like once you hit new game on your whole entire Pokemon save file, you're going to go into group A, B, or C. And if you are in group B and C, then you lucked out. You're going to get some tiny mushrooms and big mushrooms. If you are not in these groups, and these hidden items are not here, because they will not be here for everybody, then I'm sorry, but you are shit out of luck. You're not getting any mushrooms. Now, I'm going to show you the rocks where all of these mushrooms are going to be located. If I were you, I would just check every single rock in these downstairs locations that we're going to go into. But the second we take that first ladder, the first mushroom that you should get should be on the second rock closest to that ladder. Right, so that first rock on the ladder above us, that's going to be your tiny mushroom, right? There's going to be 2 big mushrooms, and that's going to be on these 2 rocks right here that we were just looking at next to this bottom ladder. Each rock should have a big mushroom. And if you don't get a single mushroom, then I'm sorry, boys. You should have luck. You're not in the right save file. And I hate that the game has that type of RNG, that randomness to it. And we're going to be able to find mushrooms later, or you can just farm Paris's, because they can come holding tiny mushrooms, I think like 5% of the time. But that's a lot of Pokeballs to waste, and we don't want to do that, and we don't need it that bad. Another option that we can do is we have that TM Thief. We can teach that to one of our Pokemon, and we can just spam that move, and eventually we will run into a Paris that actually has that item on it, and we can just steal it. So that's an option as well. But yeah, so for each recurring, so basically what a recurring item is they're items in certain areas in the game that are actually going to respawn after a set period of time or a condition is met. So for example, this area, like I said, there's 3 groups, right? There's A, which is common, B, which is uncommon, and C. If you get into C, that's just very rare. But at the beginning of the game, all of these spots are literally empty, right? So after every 1,500 steps the player takes, when they next visit any area with like recurring items, the recurring items in every area in the game will be refreshed. So basically it deletes any recurring items that the player has like not yet picked up. And for each area, the game just randomly selects one of the 3 item groups, like each having like a different kind of probability. And every item in the chosen group will be spawned in the area. If that group is empty, then, like nothing will spawn. But like Group C, you have a 10% chance to get both tiny mushrooms and big mushrooms, I think. And I think Group B, you have a 30% chance to get tiny mushrooms. And I think if you're in Group A, I think you don't get anything. It's just empty. So if you're in Group A, I just don't think anything spawns here. We will know more once we get to the underground path, because I think if you are in the underground path, I think some items spawn there as well. I think you get like either antidotes and paralyzed heals and stuff, ice heals, burn heals, all that kind of stuff in Group B. And then I think in Group C you get ethers. And I don't remember what you get Group A. I don't know if you get either nothing or you get berries. And then the only other 2 places that I remember are Berry Forest. You get a bunch of different berries for each group. And then I know Treasure Beach is where you get the good stuff. And I think you get treasures on Treasure Beach no matter what save file you're on. But those 2 latter places are in the 7 Islands, so we're not going to get there for a while. So yeah, and I should clarify, I didn't mean you have a 10% chance for those items to spawn in Group C. I meant to say you have a 10% chance to get Group C, you have a 30% chance to get Group B, and you have like a 60% chance to get to Group A. And all 3 of those groups basically reset with every 1500 steps. So, for example, if I leave this area and I go travel 1500 steps and I come back, I'm either going to get Group A, Group B, or Group C. But since the beginning of the game, everything is empty. So basically this cave is going to refresh with items later when we come back, if we want to come back, or if we just go outside and take 1500 steps. You know, we're not doomed to have no items the whole rest of the playthrough because we got an unlucky save right now. But just, you know, a 60% chance that we're not going to have any items is pretty freaking high. So walking 1500 steps to refresh this area is not really worth it. So I'm done training my Nidoran in this area since only all Parises spawn in this little area right here, and my Nidoran knows the move Peck. This area is very, very good for training any type of flying Pokemon or Nidoran, so I just kind of raise his level up real quick just so I can get him kind of closer to evolving here. But Team Rocket is in this cave. Oh my god. He's gonna steal my Pokemon, not if we kick his butt first. But tiny mushrooms and big mushrooms, what do they actually do? Why are they so important? Aside from you being able to sell them, there's actually a guy towards the end of the game in the post game in the islands of Island number 2 that actually will take your mushrooms to teach your Pokemon some moves. Now, each time he teaches your Pokemon a move, he takes a mushroom, so that's why you kind of need a bunch of them. The move that he teaches you is actually based on your Pokemon's moveset history, so he can teach you any move that your Pokemon has forgotten. It doesn't have to be you personally. For example, you can catch, Legendary Mewtwo at level 70, right? He shows up at level 70 at the end of the game, but if you go to that moveset guy, the Move Maniac, you can give him a mushroom and you can see all the moves that Mewtwo has forgotten in the last 70 levels, and he can teach it to you for a mushroom. So for example, say Mewtwo learns like Confusion at level 10 or like Tackle at level 20, but he doesn't have those moves anymore because he's level 70. He has Psychic and Recover and whatever else he has. Yeah, you can, if you want to relearn that move, Confusion, which he forgot a long time ago, you can give the guy a mushroom and boom, your Mewtwo now knows Fusion. Same thing with Charmander or Charmeleon. Well, actually, when we get there, it's going to be a Charizard. But we're probably going to get rid of our Scratch at some point. So, if whatever reason I wanted to relearn Scratch, I can, save a tiny mushroom, give it to that guy, and we can relearn Scratch. But yeah, that's just an example. There's actually a lot of really cool additions that they did to the Fire Red and Leaf Green games that were not in the original with the 7 Islands. But we'll get there when we come to it. Right now, I'm just running all the way back up the ladder here, back to the first floor. I'm going to go ahead and put on Charmeleon back in front here because we're going to need him. It's time to continue on with the rest of the cave. We still have a bunch of items and trainers to fight, so we're actually about to see 2 new Pokemon right here that this guy has. This guy's going to have 2 new electric Pokemon for us. The first one is going to be Magnemite, a electric steel type that actually evolves into Magneton at level 30. I think Magneton and Dodrio are 2 of the Pokemon that can learn the move Tri-Attack, which is actually pretty cool. It's literally a fire, ice, and thunder attack. It's super cool. Doesn't do a crap ton of damage though. I think it should, but yeah. Voltorb is the next Pokemon. It transforms into Electrode at level 30, and this is only just a Thunder Pokemon. And the lore behind Voltorb is actually pretty cool. I think either a Ghastly or a Haunter actually possesses a Pokeball or something like that. Becomes a Voltorb. I don't know. don't know how that all that background lore stuff or rumors work, but just fan theories or fan stories, I guess. I don't know if that's actually ever confirmed, but there's a whole lot of that's in the Pokemon world that, you know, fans have made stories and theories of that I don't know if it's exactly right, but would be pretty cool if, you know, it was confirmed or something. Now, this rare candy right here is actually going to increase the level of any Pokemon that we want by 1. I'm going to go ahead and actually hoard all of these until we get to the end of the game and we're ready to challenge the Elite Four. It'll just, because, you know, once we're higher level, it takes a lot more experience for us to actually level up than it does right now. It's not going to be as useful, so that's the reason behind that. So yeah, this guy just had a bunch of bug Pokemon for us. Charmeleon here just used Ember and basically just one-shotted them all. Jeez, we are already level 22. It's crazy. We could be level 30 and it wouldn't even matter for us at all because Misty would just one-shot us. Even if we like were to overtrain and probably get a Charizard and learn the move Slash or Wing Attack, we'd still probably get decimated by Misty's Starmie. Starmie is so OP, it's crazy. But this is an escape rope item. We can go into our items and basically if we want to use it, it'll take us to the beginning of whatever cave that we were in. And this lady actually has 2 new Pokemon for us, and each one that she has is exclusive to one or the other game. So the first one is Oddish, which is Fire Red exclusive. Oddish transforms into Gloom starting at level 21. Then further transforms into Vileplume using a Leaf Stone or Blossom when exposed to a Sunstone. I mean, look how cute it is. Cute little Blossom. But Bellsprout here is the Leaf Green exclusive. It also transforms at level 21 into its middle form, Weeping Bell. And just like Oddish, for its final evolution, needs a Leaf Stone to transform into Victory Bell. Both Pokemon lines for Oddish and Bellsprout, the whole entire time, they are Grass Poison. Now, both of these Pokemon are actually pretty good if you did not go the Bulbasaur route. The reason why I say that is because there's not a lot of viable grass poison types in these earlier games. A lot of people wait just to go and grab themselves an Executor, which is a grass psychic type. And that's always a solid choice as well. We're not going to find one until a lot later in the game. So if you guys definitely want yourself a grass poison type, you guys definitely get one of your game's exclusive types. Each one will also help you out with Misty quite a bit. And we are going to be able to catch one or the other very shortly. In our game, we're only going to be able to catch an Oddish. And we are not going to be able to get a Bellsprout, literally ever. Because again, I only have one Nintendo Switch, and I don't have any friends that have this game, so I won't be trading between games. And there's no in-game trade for Bellsprout, so we're out of luck there. But at least we can get an Oddish, right? By the way, I'm pretty sure that Oran berry that we gave Pikachu might have just saved our life during this whole entire sequence of fights. We were about to die, and then when we were really low health, Pikachu ate the berry and it gave us 10 health. Yeah, look at that. It actually did save our life. We didn't even have to use a potion or anything. And I think I'm going to have faith. I'm going to chance the crap out of this. I'm going to chance the crap out of this. Sorry, Pikachu. You got this, though, right? Got one more. Oh, it's a Zubat. We're good. Mike can one-shot it since it's going to be weak to Thunder. Pikachu better put in work for Misty and not get one-shotted. Alright, let's actually go ahead and switch him out for Nidoran, just in case we go down here and get into any fights with Paris. But the next hidden item is actually going to be right here in the top right corner. That's going to be where the next tiny mushroom is going to be at. But right on the rock in the corner here. Now, obviously, we're in the group that doesn't have any items, so we're not going to get anything. But yeah, that's where it would be if there was an item to be had. This Team Rocket guy is staring at a Pokeball right here. We can just go ahead and fight him. Team Rocket's blasting off again! So, by the way, in the original, actually not even in the original, in Pokemon Yellow, I guess it was a special version of Red and Blue game. But in Pokemon Yellow, you can actually fight the Team Rocket that actually appears in the anime. You can fight Jesse and James. And I always wish that they never would have taken out that little, that little fight. Because you fight them a few times. And yeah, I always got sad that they took that out. Because that would have been cool to fight them. But yeah, once we defeat this guy, we're going to be able to get a hidden item in the rock just past this guy right here. And then once we get that, we can go ahead and get this TM46 Thief. This is the TM that I was talking about. We can actually teach this to someone, and we can actually take an item or a held item if someone is actually holding one. So if we use this on the Parises that are down there, we can perhaps steal a tiny mushroom from them. We're going to be probably abusing that with Meowths. We're going to be trying to steal some rare candies. I don't know if we're ever going to find one, but we can still try and give it a shot, as rare as it might be. The only Pokemon that we can even teach it to right now is our Nidoran, which is still going to be a Nidorino. But yeah, this guy is basically going to be a Brock rematch, almost. He's got a Geode, I think 2 Geodudes and an Onix. A little lower level, but still kind of the same thing, I guess. And yeah, here I actually switched out for Weedle, just so I could try to give him some XP. So at least he can hit level 5 and kind of sort of I'm going to try to start getting those guys going here a little bit. I think maybe I'm going to do some off-screen training once we get out of this cave and try to get them to like level 9 or something. Which, like I said, they both, the Caterpie and the Weedle, they evolve into Metapod and Kakuna at level 7. So I'll probably get them to like level 9 right before they evolve, show you guys when they evolve into a Butterfree and a Beedrill. I'll probably store them in the PC when we get to Cerulean City, but he was so close to hitting level 23, but at least Weedle hit level 5 like I kind of predicted he would here. But yeah, notice how we haven't found a Clefairy. He actually has a 1% chance, literally a 1% chance on this floor at least. The basement floor 1, the one that only has the Parises, he can't spawn in obviously. But there's going to be basement floor 2, where that percentage is actually going to go up a little bit to 6%, and that's where I'm going to try and find him. But yeah, here is our first Moonstone. We can actually go ahead and use this and hand it to our Jigglypuff, who is now going to evolve into a Wigglytuff. Yeah, that's right. Jigglypuff is already turning into a Wigglytuff. Let's go. Yeah, that's the first Moonstone. If you got Nidorino or a Nidorina, you can give the Moonstone to that instead, and it'll turn into a Nidoking or Nidoqueen. Now, if I were to give you a piece of advice, I would wait till your Nidorino or Nidorina is at level 22 exactly before you give it the Moonstone. The reason for that is because Nidorino learns Horn Attack at level 22. So once you learn Horn Attack, you can give him the Moonstone, and then poof, once you give him the Moonstone, he's going to learn the move Thrash. And only at that level can you learn both. So just a little trick right there that you guys can do. But on this floor, that bottom rock right there is actually going to have your last and final mushroom. So if you guys get lucky, then definitely check that last rock here and you'll get your last mushroom. But I did go all the way back to the Pokemon Center, and I actually healed up before I came down here to this last part, because I was looking actually at that Ether, and the Ether move actually restores some power points to whatever move you're going to use, and I was going to use it on the Ember for Charmeleon, but I was like, I'll just run all the way back and heal up so we don't waste it. Might need it later. But yeah, Clefairy's appearance rate in the beginning floor was only 1%. On this floor, which is the bottom and last floor, that appearance rate goes up to 6%. So I'm going to try and find the Clefairy here, but I'm also going to try to find it naturally. So hopefully we can find it naturally by the time we're out of this cave. If not, then I'll have to actually run around and look for him. But we have a couple more Team Rocket fights. I believe we have 2 more Team Rocket fights. And then we have the last guy, which is going to have 2 new Pokemon to go over. But he's actually guarding a fossil for us. So we're going to have a choice between 2 fossils. Dome Fossil and Helix Fossil. So both fossils we're actually going to have to take to Cinnabar Island, which is going to be our 7th badge. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it in order, even though you don't have to do all the badges in order, but I am gonna do them in order. But we're gonna have to take it to Cinnabar Island, any of the fossils that we get, and they're gonna be able to reanimate our fossils into actual Pokemon. And I think we're only gonna get 2 fossils. We're gonna get the Old Amber, and we're gonna tell you guys right now, I'm gonna go with the Dome Fossil over the Helix Fossil. I just prefer it. Oh, holy crap, it's actually a freaking Clefairy. We actually freaking found one, hell yeah. Alright, let's definitely hit this thing with a Thunder Wave. This thing might survive with Thunder Shock, but I don't want to chance it, so I'm gonna hit it with a Quick Attack. That Pikachu's gonna die, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so Pikachu's dead. Pikachu's dead. I don't want to hit this guy with a peck. I feel like he's gonna die. So I've been chucking like Pokeballs at him and he's broken out like 3 or 4 already. Gonna keep chucking some more. Hopefully one sticks. Okay, homies is broken out of like a few more here. Let's go! We freaking finally got one. So that's Clefairy. I believe we've already went over Clefairy, yeah? Alright, I'm gonna name it Luna. Shout out to the moon. If it was a male, I'd probably name it Moon. I don't know. I feel like the male version of Clefairy is very, very rare too. On top of that, because I don't even know if a male version of Clefairy even exists. But yeah, we're almost done with all of these random encounters. There shouldn't be much left. We're almost out of this cave, you guys. Like I said, we just got, I think, 2 more fights. One more Team Rocket fight, and the guy that's guarding the fossils. And I guess since we're about to go over and fight that guy, I guess we can actually go over the Dome Fossil right now. So the Dome Fossil is actually going to be Kabuto. That's going to transform into Kabutops at level 40. And the Helix Fossil is going to be Omanite, which is going to transform into Omastar, also at level 40. Both of these are rock water types. I know it's a weird combo, right? The only thing is they're quad weak to grass, even though they don't have a water weakness anymore. They're quad weak to grass. And if you couldn't tell by their appearance, they're kind of opposites of each other, and one's like an offensive form and one's a defensive form. So that's why I want to go Dome Fossil, because I like the offensive form so much better. But more than likely, I don't think we're going to use that Pokemon either. The problem with that is that it's so late in the game, like towards the 7th badge, that by that time we're probably already going to have a full party. And as cool as that Pokemon is, I don't know if we're going to have the room for it. But I would like to use it, but I just don't think we're going to. Now, just past this Team Rocket, towards this rock right here, if you interact with it and search it, you get the last Moonstone of the whole entire cave. This one is hidden, so it is a little missable, but we're actually going to go ahead and hand this thing directly to our Clefairy already, so that it evolves into a Clefable. And again, this thing kind of levels up pretty quickly, and it can be taught some pretty cool moves. So, I mean, it's not a bad Pokemon to have on your team. If you guys really like cute Pokemon, I would probably recommend this one. If you have it in a good nature, of course. And I think we actually might want to catch another one. Oh my god, as I'm saying that, we actually find another freaking Clefairy. Damn. See, the only problem is we need 2 Clefairies, because once we get the National Pokedex and we unlock more Pokemon, we're actually able to breed the Clefairy and get the baby version of it, which is Cleffa. We're going to be able to do that with actually a few Pokemon, but that one is a female, so it doesn't even matter if I capture it. But this guy is going to have a brand new 2 Pokemon for us. They're both going to be poison types. This guy is Grimer. He evolves into Muck at level 38. Another late evolution, but it gets a huge stat buff when it evolves. The next one is going to be Coughing. This guy evolves at level 35 into Wheezing. Again, another poison type. This one can be considered poison flying because it does have Levitate. That means it doesn't get hit by ground attack moves. So yeah, I think it's like one of its secondary hidden abilities. And then Voltorb, we already went over Voltorb. But yeah, if you guys have actually watched the anime, then you guys probably already know most of these Pokemon. But I still, kind of feel like I need to go over them since it is a walkthrough. And as you guys know, I think who's the one that has Wheezing? Is it Jesse or James? No, one of them has a Wheezing, and the other one has an Ekans and Arbok. And I kind of forget what other Pokemon Team Rocket actually gets, or do they just stick with Meowth and those 2 poison Pokemon? I don't know if they ever actually get a new one, but yeah. I didn't watch Pokemon past the original, when I think he loses to Gary, I think, at the end, right? I don't know. I gotta watch. I think I seen it to when he goes to the Orange Islands, and that's when I kind of stopped watching it. But at some point, I'll freaking pick it up and watch it. Maybe when my kids get older and interested. But I think around here, in that last section of the cave, that's where Team Rocket actually is gonna stop you if you are playing in the original yellow version. But we made it! We made it out the hood, baby! Let's go! If you actually interact with the grass right here in this corner of the mountain, you get a great ball hidden item. Hell yeah. But yeah, we're free! These two guys are over here facing each other. They look like they're in an epic standoff, but they're actually going to teach your Pokemon some moves. The guy on the left is going to teach you Mega Punch. If you want anyone to learn Mega Punch, we only have Luna and Scorch and Zeus that can learn it. But we are actually going to learn this one right here, Mega Kick. We're going to teach it to our Charmeleon so that he's actually able to do something to Misty. So yeah, as you guys can see here, it's a normal type move, but it has insane amount of power with 120. The only problem is the accuracy of it landing is only 75. So it's kind of a bitch to land, but when it does, it's going to do a lot for us. But it also is going to go off of our attack stat, not our special attack. And remember, our attack is a little bit lower, so hopefully though, it should do, you know, at least enough to make a difference. Because Metal Claw and Scratch isn't going to do anything. Ember is definitely not either. So we're going to go ahead and actually get rid of Scratch for Mega Kick. Normal move to replace a normal move. And like I said, we're just going to kind of ignore Mega Punch here. We might come back and teach it to something else, but honestly, who knows at this point. But let's go ahead and go down here to our last hidden item of the video. It's going to actually be a berry. It's not going to be a very important berry. It's just going to be a berry that is going to be used for fodder into a little blending machine later if we want to do any type of grinding for medicine. So yeah, we can go on ahead and grab this TM. This TM is 05 Roar. This TM is basically going to let you flee easier from fights. If you teach Roar to a Pokemon in the wild when you're fighting, you'll have the Pokemon run away. If you're in a trainer battle, then he'll just switch Pokemon. If you jump down here, you're going to have two new Pokemon here. If you're on Leaf Green, you're going to have Sandshrew. If you are on Fire Red, then you're going to have Ekans, which we are trying to find right now. And when we find him, we're going to catch him. And then when we catch him, we're going to name him. And after we name him, we're going to go heal our Pokemon. And we are going to end the episode. But what I also did real quick too, I just didn't show you guys, is I actually, before we jump down, I trained my Nidoran just a little bit till it was level 15. And it only needs a little bit of XP before it hits level 16 and then it evolves. And then once that happens, we're just going to store it in our PC until we get another Moonstone, which is going to be a lot later. But yeah, we're going to go heal our Pokemon, and that's where I'm basically going to leave off for you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. In the next one, we're going to go through actually a series of trainer battles along a route. And we're probably going to take on Misty, and that's going to be the whole entire video. So it might be a short one if I edit the battles down a little bit. But it's definitely not going to be a long one like these two have been. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a successful week or weekend, everybody.